The night was cold, silent, and wide like an endless dark ocean. The human traveler named Ethan sat alone near a small campfire on an alien forest world. His breath came out like white smoke in the freezing air, and the wind moved through the tall red trees like a whisper from another dimension. His tent was small, his sleeping bag was warm, but the forest around him felt alive, watching him, waiting for something. Ethan was used to traveling alone, but tonight felt different. Tonight felt like someone or something was not far away. He listened to the crackling fire, but then he heard another sound, soft, light, careful. It was not wind. It was not falling snow. It was footsteps, small footsteps. They circled the camp slowly, like a shy creature trying not to be seen. Ethan turned his head and looked into the darkness, but he saw nothing except glowing mist between the trees. His heart beat faster. He reached for a small light and pointed it outward. For a moment, he saw two glowing golden eyes watching him from behind a rock. The eyes were not human. They blinked fast and then disappeared. Ethan stood up and took a step forward, but the sound stopped. He waited. The forest became quiet again. Too quiet. Even the insects stopped making noise. He felt like someone was holding their breath. Ethan sat back down, trying to stay calm, but then he heard the sound again. This time, it came from behind his tent. Slow, careful, curious. He turned quickly, and his light landed on a small figure. For a second, Ethan thought it was a child, but then he saw the ears. Fox-like ears. Soft, covered with orange and white fur. He froze. The figure gasped and hid behind a tree. Ethan spoke gently. "Hey, I can see you. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." No reply came. Only shaking breath. He tried again, softer this time. "Are you cold?" The figure slowly stepped out from behind the tree. It was a small fox girl with long hair, a furry tail, and trembling hands. Her eyes were big, bright, and full of fear. She tried to speak, but her voice was weak and broken, like she did not know human language well. Cold. Too cold. Night kill," she whispered. Ethan noticed she was barefoot, shaking, and her fur was covered in frost. She was trying to stay brave, but her body was losing strength. He looked at the freezing air, and then his sleeping bag. If she stayed outside, she would not survive. He asked carefully, "Do you need warmth?" She nodded fast, but her eyes showed fear. Not fear of the cold. Fear of him. Her tail twitched behind her, moving on its own, like it had a brain separate from her body. It curled, lifted, shook, and reacted to every emotion she felt. Ethan watched it and felt a strange curiosity. He pointed to the tent. "You can stay inside. Only warmth. No danger." The fox girl hesitated. Her tail wrapped around her own leg like it was protecting her. She looked at the stars, then at the human, then at the fire. Finally, she took one small step forward. Ethan opened the tent a little wider. The fox girl crawled inside, moving slowly, carefully, still scared, still shivering. Her tail moved before she did, sliding inside the tent first, like it was checking for danger. Ethan followed after and zipped the tent shut. The wind outside grew stronger, but inside the tent, it felt safe, quiet, and warm. The fox girl looked at the sleeping bag and then at him. She whispered, "Share? Only little, please?" Ethan nodded, even though his heart was racing. They slid into the sleeping bag together, and her body was ice cold. But the strangest part was her tail. It moved on its own, curling around Ethan's arm like it was alive. The fox girl gasped softly, embarrassed. "Sorry. Tail do that." "Not me," she said. Ethan tried to stay calm, but the feeling was strange, warm, and full of mystery. Outside the tent, the footsteps returned, something larger, heavier. Breathing in the dark, the fox girl whispered with fear, "Not safe." Something follow me. And the tail tightened around him. The tent was small, the air warm, but the fear inside it felt heavy. Ethan lay still inside the sleeping bag, and the fox girl rested beside him, shivering as her cold body slowly absorbed heat. Her ears twitched with every sound, and her golden eyes stayed open like she was afraid to sleep. Her tail, soft and fluffy, curled around Ethan's arm again without warning. She gasped and tried to pull it away, but the tail refused to listen. "Tail, no obey. Sorry," she whispered, embarrassed and nervous. Ethan gave a calm, gentle answer. "It's okay, don't worry." But truthfully, he could feel his heart beating fast. The tail felt alive, reacting to his warmth and heartbeat, tightening and loosening like it was thinking. Outside the tent, the wind howled, but there was another sound too: deep breathing, slow, heavy, and close. Something large was nearby, walking in circles, sniffing the air. The fox girl pressed closer to Ethan, her voice shaking. "Follow me, smell me, hunt me." Ethan frowned. "Why? What does it want?" She looked down, ashamed. "Forest. Beast. Hunt fox kind. I run. I hide. Night too cold. Almost die." Her words were simple, broken, but full of fear. Ethan listened carefully. He knew the beast outside was real, and he knew the fox girl was not lying. The creature's footsteps thudded into the snow, slow but powerful, like it enjoyed waiting. The tent shook slightly when the beast brushed against it. The fox girl shut her eyes tight and grabbed Ethan's jacket with her small cold fingers. "Please, no, go outside," she begged. Ethan whispered, "I won't leave." The tail wrapped around him again, this time around his waist, holding him like a shield. Ethan looked down at it, amazed. "You said you cannot control it?" Ethan asked quietly. She nodded, cheeks turning red. "Tail. Feel danger. Protect who trust. Choose who's safe." Those words felt strange. The tail had chosen him. Creature outside growled, low and deep. The fox girl flinched. Ethan slowly reached for a small metal flare stick from his bag. If the beast tore the tent open, he needed at least something bright and burning to scare it off. The fox girl watched him, confused. "Human, not afraid?" Ethan gave a small, steady breath. "I'm more afraid of letting you freeze." She stared at him like no one had ever said something like that to her before. Her eyes softened and her tail loosened its grip slightly, as if it felt her emotions and changed with them. Minutes passed slowly. The beast sniffed the air again, then footsteps moved away. But only a little. It was waiting. The fox girl finally spoke again, voice quiet like falling snow. "Why human help me? Fox kind say human cruel, cold heart, no feel kindness." I then shook his head. "Someone told you wrong." She blinked, thinking hard. Then she spoke slowly, trying to find the right words. "But tail say you safe. Tail never wrong." Ethan tried to smile, even in fear. "Then I'm glad your tail likes me." For the first time, the fox girl let out a tiny laugh. Soft, nervous, but real. Her ears relaxed, her breathing eased a little, and her body warmed more. But then something changed. The tail suddenly lifted, stiffened, and pointed toward the tent entrance like a warning spear. The fox girl's face turned pale. "Beast, come back," she whispered. The tent rope shook. Snow fell from the top. The beast pushed against the side, sniffing, growling, deciding whether to attack. Ethan held the flare tight. The fox girl clutched his arm, her tail curling tight again, reacting faster than she could. Outside, claws scraped across the ground. Inside, hearts pounded. The fox girl whispered one more thing, something Ethan did not expect. "If sunrise come, tribe find me, and you." She swallowed hard. "They think human take me, they attack you." Ethan stared at her, stunned. So danger was not only outside, but coming at dawn too. The beast growled again, louder. The tail pressed against Ethan's chest like a shield choosing him. Night was far from over. The beast outside growled again, louder than before, and the tent shook like a thin leaf in a storm. Ethan held his breath, waiting for claws to tear through the fabric. The fox girl pressed close to him, her small body tense, her ears flat against her head. But the strangest part was her tail. It rose slowly, like a snake sensing danger, and pointed toward the tent wall where the beast stood. It moved with purpose, not fear. It looked alive. Ethan stared at it, amazed. "You're not moving it?" The fox girl shook her head fast, whispering, "Tail act without me. Tail protect." Her voice trembled, but her tail did not. It stayed strong, focused, alert. The beast sniffed again, then pushed its weight against the tent, making the poles bend. Ethan grabbed the flare and prepared to ignite it, but the fox girl grabbed his wrist gently. "No," she whispered. "Fire make beast angry. More danger." Then paused. She knew this forest, and he trusted her instinct. The beast waited, breathing heavily, but after a few long moments, it slowly moved away again. The sound faded step by heavy step until only the wind remained. The fox girl exhaled shakily and rested her head against Ethan's shoulder. Her tail loosened, but instead of returning to her side, it wrapped around Ethan slowly, like it felt. Relief too. Ethan spoke softly, trying not to scare her. "Your tail. It reacts to emotions?" She nodded, eyes down, ashamed. "Tails feel danger, fear, trust, heart. Tail choose who's safe. Tail never choose wrong." Ethan felt something strange. He had traveled through many worlds, seen many species, but never something like this. A living tail that could sense threat, comfort, loyalty, something precious. Something rare. The fox girl spoke again, voice small. "Fox kind say tail is soul, outside body." Ethan looked at her, surprised. "Your soul chose me." She blushed, ears lifting, voice shaking. "Maybe. Tail think you strong. Tail think you protect. Tail think you good." She paused. "I'm not sure." Ethan smiled a little. "I'll take that as a compliment." A soft warmth filled the tent, not just from the sleeping bag, but from something deeper. The fox girl slowly relaxed, her breathing calming and her body finally warming. Outside, the forest became quiet again, but not peacefully quiet, watching quiet. Waiting quiet. Ethan finally asked the question that had been forming in his mind. "Why did your tribe fear humans?" The fox girl pulled the sleeping bag closer around herself and spoke slowly, struggling with words. "Fox kind weak to forest poison. Beast bite us, we die. But human." She looked at him with wonder. "Human no die. Human strong. Human heal fast. Human smell different. Forest respect human." Ethan frowned. "So they fear humans because humans are immune?" She nodded. "Fox kind say human dangerous. Say human take land. Say human no feel emotion." Ethan shook his head. "That's not true." She looked at him with a soft expression, as if seeing something no one told her existed. "I see that now." But then her ears switched again, her tail lifted sharply. Ethan felt it tighten like a warning rope. Something else was happening. "What is it?" he whispered. The fox girl listened carefully, eyes wide. "Beast leave. But more danger come." Ethan tensed. "More beasts?" She shook her head with fear. "No, sunrise close. Tribe track me. Tribe think humans steal me. Tribe attack you." Ethan felt a cold wave inside him. He had saved her, protected her, shared warmth, but her people would see him as a threat. He asked slowly, "Will you tell them the truth?" She swallowed hard. "I tell, but tribe no listen. Only tail speak truth." Ethan stared. "Your tail can convince them?" She nodded weakly. "Tail choose bond, if tail stay with you. Tribe see honor, If tail leave you, tribe kill you. Ethan looked at the tail wrapped around him. It did not loosen, not even a little. The fox girl realized it too. Her eyes widened. Her ears lifted. Her breathing stopped for a moment. Tail choose, she whispered, stunned and scared at the same time. You. Outside, the first light of dawn touched the trees. And many footsteps approached. The first weak light of dawn crept through the trees, turning the frost into a pale silver glow. Ethan could hear the footsteps clearly, now many feet, light but fast, moving through the snow with purpose. The fox girl sat upright inside the tent, her ears high, her eyes wide, and her tail wrapped around Ethan like a shield. She was no longer shivering from cold, but from fear of what was coming. They come, she whispered. Tribe close. Ethan tightened his grip on the flare stick, though he knew it would not help against an entire tribe. He tried to think of a plan. But before he could speak, another sound cut through the air, low, deep, hungry. The beast from the night had not gone far. It had been waiting, watching. Now it returned, growling louder than before. The fox girl gasped. Beast no fear, tribe. Beast hunt all. The tent shook as something heavy slammed against it. Snow fell from above, the poles bent. Ethan pushed himself up, positioning his body between the fox girl and the side of the tent. The beast growled again, then scratched across the fabric with razor-sharp claws. The fox girl clutched Ethan's arm, and her tail lifted like a spear. Stiff and alert, Ethan whispered, "Stay behind me." The fox girl stared at him, shocked that a human would shield her. But before she could speak, the beast struck again. Harder, tearing a long rip into the side of the tent. Cold air rushed in, and Ethan could smell the creature wet fur, blood, and death. He lit the flare. A burst of bright fire shot up, red and fierce. The beast roared and stepped back, blinded and furious. For a moment, Ethan saw it clearly, a massive wolf-like creature with bone plates along its spine and jaws strong enough to crush stone. The fox girl whimpered, "Forest demon." The beast lunged again, but Ethan thrust the flare forward, inches from its face. The creature recoiled, but it did not run. It paced back and forth, waiting for the fire to die. The fox girl looked at Ethan with disbelief. "Human, no fear, why?" Ethan, breathing hard, answered, "Because you needed help." Her eyes filled with surprise, like no one had ever defended her before. But the danger grew worse. Voices echoed through the forest, sharp, quick, aggressive. The fox girl's tribe had arrived. Dozens of fox warriors jumped between the trees, holding spears and blades carved from crystal-like stone. They were dressed in fur armor, their eyes glowing with fierce purpose. They saw the torn tent. They saw the flare fire. They saw the human. And they drew their weapons. The fox girl rushed forward, holding up her hands. "No, he saved me." Beast hunt. Me, human protect. The warriors did not lower their weapons. Their leader, a tall foxman with silver fur and deep scar across his eye, stepped forward and growled, "Human trick. Human steal." Ethan stayed still, hands open, showing he held no weapon except the flare. The beast growled behind the warriors, ready to strike again. The tribe ignored it, focused only on Ethan. The fox girl's voice cracked as she shouted, "Tail choose him." Silence fell. Every warrior froze. The leader stared at the tail wrapped around Ethan. His eyes widened with shock, anger, and disbelief. "Impossible," he said. The fox girl shook her head. "Tail choose. He safe. He good. Good. He kind." The warriors whispered among themselves, afraid. But then the beast roared, louder than ever, and charged toward the group. The warriors turned too late. Ethan reacted first. He threw the flare directly into the beast's open mouth. The flare exploded in fire and sparks. The beast screamed in pain and stumbled back, crashing into a tree, then running into the forest. Defeated. The tribe stared at Ethan, no longer with anger, but with awe. The leader stepped closer, eyes narrowed. Voice low. Human face demon. Human not run. Human protect fox kind. The fox girl wiped her tears, her tail still wrapped around Ethan. He saved me. He warned me. He stay with me. The leader looked at the tail again, then bowed his head slightly. Then human come with tribe, he said. Tail speak truth. We listen. But as they prepared to leave, the fox girl whispered to Ethan, trembling again. Tribe accept for now. But not all trust. Some hate. Some wait. Danger, not end. And her tail tightened once more, warning of what was still to come. The journey through the forest was slow and tense. Ethan walked in the middle of the fox tribe, surrounded on all sides by warriors holding crystal spears. The fox girl stayed close beside him, and her tail remained wrapped around his arm like a soft but determined rope. The tribe stared at it with disbelief and suspicion. Some whispered, some glared, some looked afraid. Ethan could feel the weight of their eyes, but he kept walking calmly. The fox girl spoke softly so only he could hear. Tail no let go. Tail say stay near you. Ethan nodded, trying to smile. It's all right, I don't mind. Her cheeks warmed, and her ears twitched shyly. As they reached the village, Ethan saw dozens of foxfolk gathered. Their homes were built inside hollow trees and glowing caves. The air smelled of herbs, snow, and wood smoke. Children peeked from behind rocks, staring wide-eyed at the human. Some showed curiosity. Others hid in fear. The warriors stopped at the center of the village. The leader raised his hand, and the crowd became silent. His voice was deep and commanding. Fox kind, he announced. Tail of young one choose human. Tail choose protect. Tail choose bond. Gasps spread through the crowd. Some dropped their baskets, some covered their mouths. One older fox woman snarled loudly, Tail can be tricked. Human use lies. The fox girl stepped forward quickly, shaking her head. No lie. Beast chase me. Cold kill me. Human save me. Human warm me. Tail choose because heart safe. But the older fox woman spat on the snow. Human only help for reward. Human always want something. Ethan stayed calm, even when voices rose and anger grew. He spoke slowly, clearly, with steady eyes. I helped because someone was freezing. I helped because someone was afraid. I helped because it was right. The tribe fell quiet for a moment, because no one expected words like that. The leader studied Ethan carefully, then asked, Human feel fear of tribe? Ethan answered honestly, yes, but I stayed anyway. Another whisper spread through the crowd. Fear is normal. Staying through fear is rare. The fox girl looked up at Ethan with awe, as if she was seeing something new every second. Her tail tightened gently around him, not in fear but in pride. The leader finally spoke again, voice more thoughtful now. If tail choose human, tribe watch, tribe test, tribe see truth. The fox girl lowered her head and whispered to Ethan, Test can be hard. Some want tail break bond. Some jealous. Some angry. Ethan replied softly, I can handle it. She stared at him, amazed at his calmness. Then she said something she had not said before. Tail, no just protect. Tail feel. Emotion. Tail show who heart want near. Ethan blinked. So your tail shows what you feel? She nodded, embarrassed. Yes, tail tell truth when mouth cannot. He looked at the fluffy tail wrapped around him. So right now, it is telling everyone that you trust me? She whispered. More than trust. Her ears lowered. Her cheeks glowed. Her eyes softened. Tail say. Comfort. Tail say. Tail say. Choose. Ethan felt a warm, strange feeling inside. Not fear. Not confusion. Something gentle. But before he could reply, a loud shout came from the crowd. A young fox warrior stepped forward, eyes burning with jealousy. His fur was dark, his claws sharp, and his voice angry. Tail should choose fox kind, not human. Human, weak, human outsider. He pointed his spear at Ethan. I challenge bond. If Tail loyal, Tail protect human. If Tail false, Tail break. The crowd gasped. The fox girl trembled. No. She cried. You hurt him, tribe break law. But the warrior smirked. I not hurt, I only test. He stepped closer, raising his spear slowly. Ethan did not move. He stood still, calm, steady. The fox girl screamed, stop! But the warrior ignored her. He thrust the spear forward, and the tail moved. It snapped like lightning, striking the spear shaft, bending it away, wrapping around Ethan tighter, eyes widening across the tribe. The warrior stumbled back, shocked. The leader stared, breath caught. Tail defend human, without command. He whispered. The tribe murmured with fear and awe. The fox girl grabbed Ethan's hand, holding it with trembling fingers. Now. They know, she whispered, voice shaking but filled with emotion. Tail no mistake. Tail choose true. But then her voice lowered even more. Now danger change, some fear you. Some want you gone. Some want to take me away. Ethan looked at her gently. They won't. The fox girl stared at him, hope rising, but above them, a horn sounded. Deep, loud, ancient. The leader's face went cold. Emissary comes, he said, higher than law. The fox girl's tail tightened in fear again, and Ethan understood a larger judgment was coming. The sound of the horn echoed through the forest like a warning from the sky. Every fox kind in the village stopped moving. Warriors lowered their heads. Children hid. The air became heavy and sharp, as if even the wind feared what was coming. The fox girl stepped closer to Ethan, her tail gripping him tightly, trembling. With worry, she whispered, emissary come from high den, strong leader. Strong law, decide fate. Ethan did not know what a high den was, but he understood the fear in her voice. The tribe leader stiffened his back and spoke loudly, all stand ready. Emissary judge bond. Emissary judge human. The villagers formed. 2 long lines, creating a path through the snow. Ethan stood at the center of the clearing, the fox girl beside him. Her tail stayed wrapped around his waist, as if refusing to loosen even for authority. Lanterns glowed, fires crackled, and footsteps approached from the far edge of the forest. Then the emissary appeared, a tall fox woman with white fur, and markings like silver frost across her face walked forward. Her cloak was made of shimmering leaves that moved like liquid metal. Her eyes were wise, sharp, and ancient. One look from her felt like she could see every fear, every memory, every heartbeat. The tribe bowed low, but she raised her hand. Stand, she commanded. Her voice was calm, but powerful. The entire tribe obeyed instantly. Her gaze moved to Ethan, studying him slowly, curiously. Then she looked at the fox girl and spoke gently. Child, you return alive. Forest freeze was death, yet you live. The fox girl nodded nervously. Human save me, human warm me, human protect. The emissary's eyes moved to the tail curled around Ethan. She stared at it deeply. The air grew so quiet that even the snowflakes seemed to stop falling. Tail has chosen, she said softly. Gasps traveled through the tribe again. The emissary continued. Tail choose is rare. Tail choose is sacred. Tail choose only once. The fox girl swallowed hard. Ethan felt the tail tighten, as if clinging to a truth too big to carry. The jealous young warrior stepped forward angrily. Human trick, human force tail, impossible bond. The emissary turned her gaze toward him, and he fell silent as if his voice was stolen by ice. She then returned her attention to Ethan. Human, she said. Do you know meaning of tail? Bond? Ethan answered honestly. No. But I know she needed help, and I gave it. The emissary nodded slowly. Tail bond mean life share, mean heart trust, mean fate join. Tail bond cannot break without pain, without death, without loss. The village trembled with the weight of her words. The fox girl's eyes filled with emotion, fear, hope, confusion, longing. Ethan stayed calm. I didn't choose it. But I won't reject it. The fox girl looked up at him, stunned. The emissary watched closely, then asked, Human feel fear? Ethan nodded. Yes, but I still stand here. The emissary's ears lifted slightly, a gesture of respect. But then her tone changed, low, serious, testing. Some fox kind will hate you. Some will fear you. Some will try break bond. Some will try take girl away. Ethan replied, steady and certain, they won't succeed. The fox girl stared at him, chest rising with a breath that felt like hope. The emissary stepped closer, close enough that Ethan could feel her cold aura. Then she asked the question that mattered above all. Human. If danger come, if tribe turn, if world judge, will you protect tail bonded? Ethan did not hesitate. Yes. The emissary closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them. Slowly and raised her hand. Then human under protection of emissary. Human harm is forbidden. Tail bond accepted. The tribe gasped, some with shock, some with anger, some with fear. The jealous warrior clenched his fists, eyes burning with rage. Others whispered dark things. The fox girl exhaled with relief, leaning against Ethan, but the emissary was not finished. She looked toward the mountains, her expression changing. Yet greater danger come, not tribe, not beast, not cold. She paused. High Court hereof. Bond, High Court send envoy. High Court decide if bond allowed or destroyed. The fox girl's tail tightened so hard Ethan could feel her heart through it. Ethan looked at the emissary and asked, when? She answered with a voice that carried across the forest. Tomorrow. The fox girl closed her eyes. Ethan clenched his fists. And night began to fall again. Night returned to the village, but no one slept. Fires burned in the snow, warriors guarded the pathways, and whispers filled the air like restless shadows. Ethan sat near a wooden platform, the fox girl beside him, her tail wrapped tightly around him as if afraid someone might pull her away. The emissary stood watch from a high rock, her eyes reflecting moonlight like silver lanterns. The fox girl leaned close and whispered, High Court strong. High Court judge all. If they say bond wrong, tail force break, break hurt, break kill. Ethan placed a steady hand over hers. Nothing will happen to you. She looked at him with trembling eyes. You not afraid for yourself? He shook his head slowly. I'm afraid for you. Her breath caught and her tail wrapped around him even tighter, like it was answering. Before she could speak, the tribe watched in silence, unsure if they were witnessing something forbidden or something sacred. Then the horn sounded. Again. This time deeper, older, final. The High Court envoy arrived, 3 tall fox kind dressed in black ceremonial cloth, with faces painted in white symbols. They stepped into the center of the village, and even the emissary bowed her head. The lead envoy spoke, voice cold like stone. Tail bond confirmed? The emissary nodded. Confirmed. The envoy turned to Ethan. Human, step forward. Ethan stood. The fox girl tried to rise with him, but the envoy raised a hand sharply. Fox child, stay. Her tail refused. It clung tighter, pulling her toward him. Gasps spread across the villagers. The envoy narrowed his eyes. Tail too strong, he said. Bond deep. He circled Ethan slowly, examining him like a puzzle. Why human accept bond? Ethan answered. Clearly, because she needed warmth, safety, and someone to stand beside her. The envoy blinked, confused by such simple truth. Human expect reward? No. Human want power? No. Human want control? No. The envoy frowned, struggling to understand something outside his belief. Then he spoke louder, so the entire tribe could hear. Human, what you want? Ethan looked at the fox girl, then back at the envoy. I want her to live. I want her to feel safe. I want her to stay free. The tribe fell silent. The emissary's eyes softened. Even the jealous warrior lowered his gaze for a moment, but the envoy was not finished. Fox child, he called. The fox girl stepped forward, shaking. Her tail remained wrapped around Ethan, refusing to release. Do you accept bond? The envoy asked. She nodded, voice soft but steady. Yes. Do you choose human? Yes. Do you stay with human even if tribe reject you? She swallowed, then whispered, yes. The envoy raised his staff carved with ancient runes. Final test, he declared. Tail must choose an open. He struck the ground. Wave of cold air spread across the snow, and the tail unwrapped from Ethan for the first time since the night they met. It hovered in the air, moving slowly, searching. Sensing that the villagers leaned forward, the warriors held their breath. The jealous fox warrior clenched his fists, praying it would return to fox-kind. The emissary watched with calm understanding. The fox girl closed her eyes. Ethan stood still, saying nothing, forcing nothing, waiting. The tail floated between them for a long, quiet moment. Then it wrapped around Ethan again, tighter, warmer, certain. The envoy lowered his staff. Bond true, he said. Bond honored. The tribe gasped, then bowed. The emissary nodded deeply. Human now under fox-kind protection. Human and fox child share fate. The jealous warrior dropped to his knees, defeated. The fox girl exhaled, tears slipping down her cheeks, not of fear, but relief. Ethan gently placed his hand on her head, and she leaned into him, tail curling around both of them like a shared heartbeat. The envoy spoke one final message before leaving. Bond rare. Bond powerful. Bond change future. Human and fox kind now linked. More come, more watch, more fear, more hope. When they disappeared into the forest, the emissary approached Ethan and spoke quietly. This only beginning, Ethan nodded. I know. The fox girl smiled softly, ears lowering shyly. Tonight, she whispered, you know sleep cold. You know sleep alone.